I'm joined by former England cricketer Dawid Malan. Dawid, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you on the show. Can you explain why the suspension is just so significant?
Yeah, I think it just highlights how big the issue currently is between India and Pakistan. I don't think decisions like this are ever taken lightly to suspend massive tournaments and global tournaments like this. So, I think the fear from the players, questions from the players, and the situation that India and Pakistan are in at the moment just highlights how big the situation is.
The IPL attracts many of the top players in the world. What is their plan, and have you been in touch with any of them?
I haven't been in touch with anyone, no, but reading all the reports, a few of the players will be making their way home at the moment, using this week to go back to families and to assess what they want to do. I guess when you're in a situation like this, you can just trust the organisation and the people organising these tournaments to give you the most information. And they've been given this week off where they'll probably go home, assess, speak to their families and see and wait what the next plan could be from the IPL.
After this week's postponement, are players expected to come back to the league, or will they withdraw?
Well, I guess it all depends on the situation at the moment or between Pakistan and India. If it all settles down, then I can't see why they wouldn't go back in a week's time. But, if tensions are still as high as they are and exchanges are still happening, I'd be surprised if a lot of the foreign players went back. The only other option would be to move the IPL to a different country. Logistically, how that will work, I don't know. But yeah, I think that would be one of the first questions the players ask is, will it be safe? Where will it be played in India if it does happen? And if it doesn't happen in India, where would they move it to?
And Dawid, you were actually part of the Punjab Kings, and last night their match against the Delhi Capitals was called off due to a power failure as the war does escalate. What financial impact does this have? And also, how does it impact the fans?
Yeah, I think from a financial point of view, if the tournament does eventually get cancelled, I think it impacts the players massively. They've obviously signed for a fee for a whole tournament. So from a player's point of view, you'd probably not get your full fee, which, would be, obviously there's bigger things in life, but would be disappointing from their point of view. From the organisation side, if they aren't able to put the IPL on a bit later, whether it be in a week or in a couple of months' time, I guess the TV rights and everything that was paid for it, they'll take a big financial hit with that. And then, obviously paying fans and sponsors. But, I guess from the fans' point of view, when there are such tensions, it is sometimes quite nice to have that different distraction in watching sport. And it would be disappointing from the fans' point of view that this has happened. But, sometimes there are bigger things in life to worry about and bigger concerns in life. So as much as they'd be disappointed, I think it's the right decision at the moment.
You touched on this earlier, but could the IPL be moved to another location? What are the current options possibly on the table?
Yeah, definitely. It's not the first time this has happened with the IPL, not in terms of the severity of things that are going on between the two countries, but COVID hit back in 2020, 2021. They moved the IPL to the UAE midway through, so there are options. They've played it in South Africa before. I think realistically, if they want to start again in a week, it will have to be in India or the UAE. But then there's the clash with the PSL that's currently just announced that they'll be moving all their games to the UAE. So I'm not sure how they'd be able to fit both leagues in at the moment. South Africa probably wouldn't be the option right now, considering that it's winter there. So if it doesn't happen in a week's time in India or maybe Sri Lanka, somewhere like that, I suppose or suspect that they'll probably start in September. They've got a massive test series coming up against England in a few months' time, and the IPL will have to be finished before that or start after that. So logistically, it's quite a headache for the organisers, and I guess they have to wait and see how this next week plays out from the safety concerns of players and the people of both countries.
Dawid Malan, former England cricketer, great to have you on the show. I really appreciate your insights. Thank you once again.